Good afternoon. Today is Wednesday, June 30th,
July.
2021, 2 p.m. This is the regular scheduled workshop meeting of the Redington Shores Board of Commissioners. Please join me and rise with the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mary, please call the roll.
Commissioner Blackburn. Here. Commissioner Kraut.
Here.
Vice Mayor Robinson.
Here. Okay, the mayor obviously is not here, nor is Commissioner Krajewski. I do understand that they are joining us via Zoom. I also understand that because they are not present, they will not participate in the discussions that we have with regard to agenda items as commissioners. They will have an opportunity, as any individual resident would, to comment about an agenda item. So we will carry on in that regard. So the first agenda item is the proposed 2021-22 budget. So just to put this all on schedule appropriately so people understand, the next important action that we as a commission will have to take will be to vote on an ad valorem rate for the coming year. We will have to do that at our July 14th meeting. In order to do that, it's important that we have our budget fairly well defined by that point. And in addition to that, as we have in the past, we like our financial advisory committee to have an opportunity to review the budget, make any comments that they may have with regard to it, or suggestions that they may have, as well as any suggestion or recommendation that they may have with regard to ad valorem. They did hold a meeting the end of June, provided some additional information to Mary and myself. Mary and I worked on those numbers that came back from the FAC and placed them in this budget draft we have in front of you today. The FAC has a meeting scheduled for the 13th of July, at which time they'll review the latest version of the budget and, if they so desire, make a recommendation to us with regard to ad valorem. So with that, I want to go through this document at a fairly high level. What you see in front of you is.
Excuse me, Mike. Mine is missing from my desk.
Yes, okay, she's getting copies.
Okay, but I just so you know, I can't fall. When you ask for C in front of me, I don't have anything in front
Oh, because we continue to make last minute revisions.
Well, I had it up there. I'm not sure what happened to it. But that's okay. Tracy's making,
I just don't want, I can't follow it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
This was
that's right, still your copy. No, I didn't.
So maybe I still look because you're sitting where I normally sit.
Because this
I got
was
my-
mine and it was on
It
your
was
desk.
over
And
here.
just saying, take this. Like, where'd you get
Thank you, Tracy.
that? Okay, I'm good.
So what you have in this document before you is some historical budget information from 2019 and 20 and 21, which includes the actual budget and what our expenditures were for the year. If you go to the far right, you'll see a column which is the proposed 2022 budget, and that year over year change in the budget, and then comments associated with it. So generally, some of our expenditures are set, and they remain the same from year to year. What we did with this budget document was went through it and provided some information with regard to whether there was what change there may have been from the 2021 budget. So you'll see ad valorem taxes, that indicates that based upon information we received from the county, our expectation is that our ad valorem tax revenue will go up $108,490 for a total of $1,357,289. So you all understand the spreadsheet as it is.
Yes.
So if we go down through that, I want to talk about the building department revenues. Commissioner Carl, I really appreciate the information you provided to Mary with regard to items that you wanted in that. You'll see that they are in the budget slightly lower than what you had recommended. I did that only to be just a little more conservative on the revenue side. We can plug some higher numbers in on the expense side, and if we save money, we're better off. If we're too optimistic on the revenue side, that puts us in jeopardy. So I pulled those back. If you feel strongly about the numbers that you provided and would like us to bump those back up, I'm more than willing to do that.
I feel they're attainable, but I'm totally amenable to not being over positive and then suffering the consequences. And since this is my first budget period, I'm used to budgeting from a business standpoint and being modestly aggressive. So you might have thought I was a little too aggressive. So I mean, I'm totally, I'm in with you. I don't want to over estimate income when in fact we would suffer greatly by doing that.
Yeah.
So I totally
Yeah.
agree.
So I mean, if the billing continues the way it is, these numbers will be less than what we anticipate, and our revenue will be higher, and we can pat ourselves on the back for being
For nothing.
conservative in our estimate.
And next year you'll
live
believe
within the
me.
budget.
Next
Yeah,
year-
then next year I'll
Next year you'll
believe
believe me.
Yeah, but nonetheless, that suggests an increase in billing permit fees, $30,000 next year over the current year, which again is positive in that regard. So I'll stop anywhere along this budget if you have questions on it or you'd like to comment. You'll also, I guess the next item I noticed here is that the half-cent sales tax fund that's expected to increase as well by $10,000. You see that where we will have some reductions is perhaps in court fines, and we expect a reduction, a considerable reduction in the general interest if you look at the bottom of the page.
So the the increase on the half-cent sales tax fund and the parking meter revenue, that's just because we have more people coming to Florida now.
Yeah, and that gets us back to where we had projected before we had the pandemic as well. I think we're closer to where we figured we would be then, and we're beginning to see that again. So we think we're pretty solid there.
So the COVID is, I mean, it's like people realizing that they can work any place, and why not work here
Why not work here?
Right.
Yeah.
instead of
Certainly.
Poughkeepsie or something?
I think we all notice it.
Yeah. Sure,
The
traffic, yeah.
traffic is heavier, and there's plenty of people on the beach, and the county parking lot and our parking lot are both full on any piece of
Oh,
parking.
for sure.
And we've added parking meters too.
And we've added
I
parking.
think that's
so we
probably
expect that.
a big
Right.
one.
Right.
So, the question here, where did it go? I lost it. Oh, the Parks and Rec, the tennis courts. I understand we used to charge for usage there, and we don't anymore. That's why they're negative.
No, it's not.
No?
It is, let me see.
Parks and Rec tennis courts.
Where do I get to?
Minus the
Parks and Rec tennis court, okay. No, we reduced that, so you have to look at two numbers. Look at the 2021 budget.
Oh, that's the change.
So that's
Oh,
the
I
change. So
see.
that last column
Oh,
is the
okay.
change. So
I
we
see,
had- We
okay.
had budgeted $4,000 in 2021,
In
revenues
revenue.
less, considerably less than that. We were a little more conservative, so we budgeted 25.
I
this
got
year, so it's
Okay.
$1,500.
Got it.
And we didn't rent the park out as much.
Yeah.
Because of COVID.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. That's true.
Yeah, that may go back up, but
Mhm.
we'll see.
Okay.
Again,
Okay, so our revenue in that arena is through renting of Constitution Park,
Basically.
basically.
Mhm.
Yes. For the rental, yeah.
And just so everyone knows, we asked the town clerk, Mary Palmer, to join us on the dais because actually having the microphone in front of her is a little bit better than sitting over at the table. And because we're into the budget and some questions, it's helpful for her to be able to be here and answer those. So if you go to page 2, you see that the revenue change is $199,860. There was some discussion at the last FAC meeting with regard to the transfer from the sewer fund.
Mhm.
So you see those dollars there in that comment for discussion. So what happens is that maintenance, the town clerk, the deputy clerk, and others do work that is sewer related,
Right.
but they are not employed by the sewer, if you will. So sewer is a separate budget,
Right.
has a separate line.
Right.
So we transfer money over from sewer to the general fund to accommodate
The
for the
expenses.
expenses
Okay.
that our general fund employees
Right.
are doing dedicated to sewers. That has changed a bit because of changes in personnel with Brad and Steve in particular. You know, Steve is very engaged in the sewers, understood them well,
Mhm.
was doing a lot of locator work and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So this will probably change
Mhm.
somewhat because we don't have that.
Mhm.
uh,
The
uh,
locator.
Yeah,
Thing,
that
yeah.
locator issue,
Mhm.
and unless we go back to having someone that is more qualified in the sewer to do some sewer work, that would maintain the sewer,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
this is just where we're at. for us to find that.
Yeah.
Okay,
You know, Mike's doing the reading.
yeah, Mike's doing the readings, Mary does some
cetera.
work with regard to the sewer as well, correct, Mary?
Yes, and so does the
You put the
deputy
mic in
clerk.
front of you?
Yes, and so
Thank you.
does the deputy clerk position. You're
Yep.
welcome.
Thank you. So that's the revenue side of things, going into general fund. That legislative, department 511, that is all the commissioners. So that stays the same. The next, department 512 is the executive department. We're gonna be talking about that. You see, a pretty significant increase there. The expectation is based upon the conversation we had and further conversation we'll have today, is that we are looking for an administrator for the town. That funding would come out of that, of these line items as a full-time clerk and full-time deputy clerk. So that's where that money is, and that's why there's the increase that you see there. If there's no questions on that, I'll go down to the $6,000 that is in the other contractual services, or the $6,000 change.
I see.
But there's 8,000 in there. The increase of 6,000, Commissioner Kraut, is for that review of
The ordinance review.
the ordinance review that.
The legal
we need to
review.
do. The legal review, right, and that is something that Muni recommends every.
Every 5
Do you
to.
mind putting a mic in front of you for people?
Yes, Municode recommends that we do an ordinance review every 5 to 10 years, a legal review. We had a review in 2013 that was an organizational review, but nothing other than organization. So they feel we are well overdue for a legal review. And they did want us to codify all our changes that, all the ordinances that we've changed now since, I think, what is it, 2020 or since 2019?
There's only a few that are not codified yet. That anything that's not codified is up on the Muni code
Right.
under changes.
Right, so they're recommending that before we do this, which is, next year, that before we do
they-
this, we
yeah, they will
codify.
be.
Yeah, so then we're looking at everything. Did you want any more information on that?
No, I just wanted you to
Um,
understand that we included that in the budget.
Thank you.
as your recommendation.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm moving to page 4. Unless there's a
Well, I
question.
feel question, yeah, so
Okay.
the plan on scanning all documents? Oh, that's no change though.
So you are,
So I'm still on page 3.
you're looking at the microfiche of storage. the
Yeah,
microfilm.
right.
We want to get that work done, frankly. I'd like to get it done this year, and I'd like to get it done out of the emergency management money, because that's part of the reason, that's one of the important reasons that we need to get all of our files digitized and get them out of here is in case of some emergency. I mean, it's just good business as it is, but I think we've got some resources to do that. And Mary's looking into that now, correct, Mary?
Yes, but you're saying out of the emergency management fund.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought we discussed that we were going to keep it out of the fund that it is in the microfilming, but I can
Yes,
switch.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
You, thank you for the correction.
Mhm.
My question is if we can get that done in the current fiscal year, we'll try to get as much of that done as we can.
Sure.
I think we have either money in this line of this current year budget or in this line of the emergency management line budget that we could transfer over here for that purpose, that we could get it done. And if that's the case, then of course, we won't need these dollars in next year's budget, but we're just planning ahead. We have to have it there.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, now, on to page 4, I've got a note here, Commissioner Blackburn, that you want to raise the repair and maintenance line.
Right.
Okay,
And that has to do with going from 25,000 to 58,000 because our parking lots, the parking lot here at Town Hall needs to be sealed and striped again. If not, some repairs. And then Constitution Park, we probably need the most work of any of the 3 areas I'm talking about. It probably needs to be torn up. And there's some areas in there that are grassy, so it needs to be torn up and level, even out, and then whatever we have to fill it with, and then pave it with, and stripe it, and have the little ballast or bumpers in front. And then the third is that small, I think it's about 10 or 12 spaces over by Lighthouse condos, Lighthouse Point. That, I'm not sure how extensive that's going to be. This is a bigger parking lot here at Town Hall. It may end up being as much as what it will be at Constitution Park, even though that's fewer parking spaces, because this is just seal it and stripe it.
so I don't question the need for it.
Mhm.
Is that enough
Oh,
money?
I did not get quotes for it. I'm just,
Okay.
these are swags.
Okay,
And I was
all right.
as pessimistic as I knew how to be.
Okay, all right. So we'll bump that line up near 58,000.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm not going to go over some of those other smaller items. We just made some adjustments to those based upon what our current run rates are and what our experience is. Not an issue. The law enforcement and fire control lines, those are up based upon the contracts. That we
We're
have.
on 5.
Yeah.
Page 5.
No, page 4.
Page 4.
Department 4 or 520.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So law enforcement
Right.
and fire control, those are contracts with
Right.
for police and fire and rescue service. So those are the current numbers based upon contracts. They're information we receive from all of them. The protective inspections, that I'm just want to bring it up so everybody understands clarification that if all things stay the same, or as if we hire a building official and that's in the budget is well down here, you'll see, or as if we don't, we still need that part-time person in the building department. That money is still contained within the budget. I think as we talk about positions and as we start interviewing prospective candidates for various openings that we have today, and we begin to look at skill sets that people have, you know, we kind of may balance out what it is we hire, who we hire for this, that, or the other thing. You know, we've all been in organizations, and that's what you do. You end up changing structure sometimes to suit the needs that you have and the skill set of the people that you have. But it's all there in the budget, as is additional dollars under building department expenses for the hiring of a building inspector, and I think we have
Our building official.
Our building
official, yeah.
We have that on, we have that.
And
discussion about the position.
that was basically the increase over, we went to the 3 days a week. And that is with the current contractual service.
Correct.
So that makes it an annualized number as opposed to, we started the 24 hours, like I think a few months into the year. So that's why that addition is there. It's just for a full year's impact. And if
Which line?
you're down in last section 534,
Building department. Okay, got
other contractual. So then if we do hire our own building official, the numbers that are in that for contractual services would satisfy the salary of a full-time building official. So it would just again be like switching,
Yes.
you know.
Understood. So you know it's there. Excuse me. So now we're on page 5. Excuse me. I reduced the emergency management line down to $10,000. That is sufficient to take care of any small time emergencies that we have. Buying sand. How much sand did we buy for this last one, by the way?
65 yards.
Wow. And we got rid of every bit of it. I'm
Yes.
I'm impressed.
I am
what we
too.
did. And by the calculations, that's well over 5,000 sandbags.
5,500, I think.
Perfect. So yeah, if we have a catastrophe, that line will never be sufficient, whether you have 30,000 or 10,000.
You're
So
absolutely
we'll have to
right.
make a budget amendment as it is, so trying to be more practical with the experience that we've got. And thank goodness this past one wasn't worse than it was. I do want to mention garbage and solid waste because that number will change based upon the contract that we have with Waste Connections. There is an increase that we expect of, what was it, near 4%? We'll have to pass that by resolution at our next meeting in order to pass that on to residents. The expectation is as we have expense keep pace with what's required. So the other physical environment, so you know there are dollars in that for 2 employees.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
I left that in there. The public library, that went down by $5,000. That's because our contract for that went down.
Okay.
And so with that, if you look at the bottom of the page, the net effect expenditures and net effect on general fund, if we add the 33,000 that you have added
To
Commissioner Blackburn to that parking lot work, that would mean that we are $68,000 based upon this proposed budget.
33,000, yeah. Mhm.
It would be $68,000 less. We would have $68,000 worth of expenditures over revenue.
Okay.
So we would balance the budget by reductions in expenditures or by transferring money from reserves. So I'm just bringing that to everybody's attention.
Okay.
I'm not suggesting that we do one or the other at this point, but it's something we all have to be aware of as we move forward.
Has to
And
come
as
from
we
somewhere.
reach to the point that we finalize the budget, we will have to balance one or the
Mike, what do our reserves look like?
other. Mary?
I think we got a copy of that list.
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah, it's actually the surplus money in the general fund, not considered reserves. And, we're fine in there. I don't even want to try to guess at the amount because I'll be wrong.
But we have adequate,
Yes. Mhm.
We'll pull that up and provide that to you time to have a discussion about this.
So we
When
can-
we start talking about how we're gonna balance this. we'll have-
Okay, cool. Okay.
we'll do that.
Okay.
Okay, so that handles general, the general fund. Page 6 is
That's the capital
Yes,
improvement. It hung up down at the budget page.
capital improvement. So that page 6 is revenues associated with that.
okay.
Increase in sales tax, okay.
Yep, so you see that there's still money coming to us from the county for undergrounding. That would be the undergrounding of the west side.
Mhm.
Is that the $1 million, the 900,000 that we got from the COVID relief?
No,
Okay, that's not,
This
that
is-
was in this year.
that
Have we
we-
actually
we-
received that?
no. This money is for the undergrounding that the Big C has worked with through the Big C for the undergrounding of the boulevard that we get
Okay.
reimbursed from the county through the 1 cent.
Okay.
sales tax.
Okay.
Penny for Pinellas or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, right. Oh, so I see another note on page 7 on expenditures.
Mhm.
Okay. Do you want to talk about other stuff first or go straight to that?
Stay in line, go to that.
Now let's go to that.
The one, okay, so we were set for 75,000. But I have some projects in Constitution Park, separate from the parking lot. Also, one of the things in the Constitution Park is the surface of the basketball court there. And, you know, that I've talked about this before, the roll down shutters, like the storm shutters in the kitchen there. And then also that blue Formica is just disintegrating, that needs to be replaced, and a couple of other things, projects there. And let's see, also the tennis court, we need to seal that up and repaint that. It's got some cracks in it, etc. Thelma Spitzer Park. I need to do something for shade. Either we had planted a couple of trees there that didn't work, so we either need to get a different type of tree or a shade, and I think either one is going to cost about the same amount. Del Bello, and at each one of the parks too is what this increase has to do with the irrigation systems all need to be checked and repaired or updated or whatever, refurbished. I don't think Thelma Spitzer is working at all. So between Del Bella, Thelma, the tennis courts, and Constitution Park, then also our doggy stations, we have about a dozen in town. Those are pretty wretched. they're kind of like homemade. It's not actually gonna cost that much to replace them with commercial grade, commercial level, durable doggy pots. So I put in for that. Also, what's the other thing? Oh, the Moby mat. The Moby mat, just as a side note, the Moby mat's not gonna work probably at the county park.
Yeah, I see we got that on the agenda. for the-
Yeah, so that's separate, that's later.
Okay, my only question, my only comment
Mhm.
is that if we look at the actual expenditures that we've had,
Mhm.
we spent a lot of money in 2019, we spent $73,000
Hmm.
in 2019,
Mhm.
under 30,000 in 2020,
Mhm.
and the actualized number for 2021 of 30,000 based on, and you're asking to bump this from 75,000 to 115,000.
Mhm.
So that's a huge increase over our expenditures that we've had. Okay.
But the budget was 75.
Yeah.
I don't know if the
Right.
budget was 75 all along, and I don't know what they spent $73,000 for in 2019. That was before my time.
Yeah.
But I think the only thing we really spent any money on in 2020 really was and I don't know if it's on there yet, the dock, the
Yeah.
fishing dock and all, is that in there yet or not?
That's this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. 21, we're in 21. That was 9/30.
2020. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So that's part of the 30,000, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, got it.
I'm not saying.
I haven't spent very much.
I'm not suggesting you not put the money in there.
Yeah.
I like the fact, and I think it's important for the residents.
Mhm.
You know, I do it at La Vistana. We spend their HOA dollars wisely to keep the place looking good. They pay, owners pay into that, our residents pay into it. We ought to have decent parks, we ought to have a town that looks the way it should. So I don't have an issue with that.
Right.
Because all of these things individually, if the money's in the budget, you'll be bringing those individual proposals to the
Mhm.
commission
Correct.
for vote, so that's fine. The budget is just to make sure that in the expectation is that the dollars we preload into the budget are based upon some understanding of what some of these things cost.
Mhm.
We're balancing so how appropriately that it's not necessarily just a wild guess.
Yeah.
So you think, Jenny, then it's gonna be $45,000 more than
The
this
75.
year's?
See, because what if it was just left alone, for instance, one of the things that needs to be done at, say, Del Bello Park is the brick walkway there
Mhm.
needs some repairs to it. It was after Ada
Yeah,
that we had some real like divots in certain places, like where like there's little, how do I say it?
Depressions and.
Triple
Irregular.
balls.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Depressions and stuff like that.
And that's a lot of money to
Yes,
re.
right, but that's just regular, that's just who could say
Yeah.
Mhm.
that was gonna happen,
Mhm.
so, but that does need to be done.
And some of the lands-
75,000 to do stuff like that,
Yeah, and the landscaping.
and also like, another thing there at Del Bello. And also in front of Town Hall here is another thing is these two wooden signs that we have need to be
That's right.
refurbished.
so, okay, so you're asking for the proposed budget
Mhm.
for 2022, instead of 75,000,
150.
you would like that to be 115,700.
Right.
Okay, so Mary, you'll put that in there?
Yep. Mhm. And Commissioner Blackburn, you had also mentioned to me with that figure was some landscaping and
Yes, yeah, one of the things that I noticed about the, not necessarily Thelma Spitzer Park, I think that was very thoughtfully planned out, you know, it had a big picture view and all the way down to the detail. But Constitution Park, I had a bunch of the scraggly, there were some scraggly landscaping in Constitution Park that kind of didn't make sense, you know. And so I took it, they were really getting leggy and ugly, and it would just seem like somebody just stuck something here and stuck something there. And I want to hire a landscape architect to take a look at Constitution Park objectively and you know, make suggestions, come up with a plan that we can then follow in subsequent years, and maybe come up with like, how long will it take us to achieve this? The same thing in Del Bello Park. And as an example, in Del Bello, there's those trees close to the sidewalk. Well, they're smaller trees, they're Florida trees, and they're smaller trees, and they really don't, they really don't provide shade. I mean, we have bushes underneath there that just get scraggly. It would be great to have some true shade trees. And it would be great to have some of the benches that we have to go underneath those larger shade trees. But it just, I want it planned out. I don't want it to be catch as catch can.
I agree with that. You know, that's the same issue we have at Lava Stand, but you know, we spend money to do this right, or we waste a lot of little money here and there.
Right.
Not getting it done the way we should.
Let's get some professional advice so we come up with a plan, and then
Implement it over time.
yeah, and then it doesn't matter who's here, the plan stays the same.
So adding that, just so you know, again, brings the
Right.
bottom line to that would mean that we have a deficit and capital improvement fund of $98,000, almost $100,000 in capital improvement expenditures over revenue line. So, yeah, all part of the discussion going forward.
And then
Okay, and then lastly, moving on to the sewer fund.
wait, I have
Yeah.
there's a new line item I want to talk about.
Oh, okay.
Is this, am I doing this at the right time, Mary? Okay, thank you. Okay. So with the 4th of July, and this also has to do with the trash cans. I've been talking to Chief Swan about this. You know, they have I'm not sure the word to use for it. They call it a mule, Kawasaki. It's like a 4-wheel motorcycle. It's not a 3-wheel. It's not an ATV. But they have one, and they were able to get on and off the beach during the fireworks thing, just using the little beach path. Whereas with us, with just the trucks, we have only 2 ways to get onto the beach, and one is by San Remo, the other one is by Misty Isles. So it just created huge delays, you know, because you have to go down there, come in, do your thing, and then you have to go back down. And it's also, there were a couple things we had to do this during the day when there was a lot of people on the beach. And so, you know, the smaller vehicle would have been less dangerous. It just would have saved us so much aggravation, so much time, and so much misunderstanding. So but we would need to separate that into a separate line item. I think the price tag on those is, and the one that we were looking at is the same kind that the chief has, and it will seat 4 if you need to put 4 people in it to take them someplace, with a little storage in the back, but those back seats can be folded down, and you could use those for, in his case, maybe like a stretcher, or, but in our case, you know, trash cans or whatever, supplies, whatever it is that we need. And so $18,000 is basically the price tag, but we would need to do some modifications, I think spotlights, floodlights, and also running lights on the vehicle. And looking at what those run, I figured 22,000 total for that.
So you
Oh,
would,
incidentally, we could also, it's not just for the beach, we could also use that for, you know, a quick zip down to Del Bello or the little parks in here on the streets to, you know, empty trash cans or do whatever.
so it's big enough to, is it 1 or 2 trash can? I mean, like I know when we take our truck on the beach, it's,
You could
Where-
put, I would say you could put 4 of the big trash cans on the back with that back seat down.
and so the advantage of that is that it's easier to get in and out of the,
In and out of the beach. There's
Beach.
more places where you could actually go over, like for instance, the public parking lot. You know, those beach things, that little bridge thing.
and did we
They were
reduce our
using that.
fleet? Have we reduced our truck fleet at all?
We actually have, we're getting the 250. That's coming in actually tomorrow morning.
Okay,
That was in the budget last year, so that's coming in tomorrow morning. The 250 will help because it has more weight for the sand, number one. Number two, in high water, it's much, you know, better. And so we're trading in 2 trucks. We're keeping one of the F-150s. We had 3 F-150s, we're trading in 2, keeping 1 F-150 and adding the F-250.
So I think that before we ever make the purchase,
Mhm.
and this isn't, this discussion on today's budget isn't for the purpose of saying yay or nay
Right,
on any of these things.
right.
It's to make sure that we're preparing a budget
Right.
that adequately
Mhm.
meet our needs in the coming year and meet the priorities that we have. I think before we make a decision on that, you know, there's questions about whether or not we and North Redington could share in something like that, you know, or whether we have with the new garage
Mhm.
space, we have space for it.
Mhm.
You know, we want to keep that in an
Yeah.
appropriate place. So I mean, there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
discussion.
Mhm.
To go forward with that. So
I'd rather create the line item for it now
Yeah.
than do a budget amendment later.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying,
Yeah.
and that's the point that I've made ever since I've been on the commission with commissioners,
Mhm.
is that, you know, we couldn't, when I first got here, it seemed like we just threw money at the budget based upon what we had in the budget in previous years, and had nothing to do with any intelligent,
Right.
thoughtful discussion up front. So that's what this is for, and that's what we're doing. So
Actually,
if we could,
Commissioner Blackburn mentioned to me this right before the meeting, and I had said, you know, you might have to
Yeah.
ask a new line item. But in the budget already under new equipment, we kept the 40,000 in there. So it would be considered under that new equipment line item, I would say. Out of the
So there's
1
already
cent.
some money in there for new.
Yeah.
Out of the 1 cent sales tax. And then again, that might, like Vice Mayor said, see if North Redington, you know, we share a lot of equipment and split it.
so let's just leave the 40,000 in there for equipment
Mhm.
now.
Okay.
Perhaps, you know, at least we have some notion of where we might want to spend the money.
All right.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
what line item is, 546.204 is the equipment?
Correct.
Okay,
Mhm.
Wait, what page is that?
That's
page
on-
7.
Oh, here it is.
That's right below,
Real quick,
that's right below your 150,000. Okay, moving on to sewer fund. The sewer service, there's a note here, you know, Kirby Howell's done a lot of work on the sewer line. That is just a question of what is being charged under their new billing system, is that right, Mary?
That's what I believe it is, we went over to the usage instead of the flat rate. So there's a little bit more tweaking to do on that. And then also the pass-through that we will be doing, we already approved the 4-year pass-through.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we got to figure that in too, so.
Okay, so there is within the sewer fund also the monies that Commissioner Krajewski had asked for major rehab of the sewer system. And there was something else that was significant to where I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There was, he did that, and
Was it stormwater? Was it anything with stormwater?
oh, the stormwater,
Right,
yes, up in
stormwater, that was-
capital
that was-
improvement. Yeah, 160. And then, yes, the 500 for the major rehab on the sewer.
So those are numbers that came from Commissioner Krajewski. So again, we're putting the dollars there, as we talked about in previous commission meetings with regard to the sewer system. We are negotiating with Pinellas County with regard to the potential possibility of their interest in purchasing the sewer system. So while we have money in the budget for major sewer rehab, my personal opinion is that I want to move that discussion
County.
with Pinellas County along as rapidly as possible. It may take 6 months or a year, but I would not want to be spending money rehabbing the sewer system for things other than what are absolutely
Right,
necessary to maintain the system in the core condition
Right.
we've got today. I don't want to be throwing money into there.
Right, that we're not gonna get back.
I think that's the case. So we've got the money in here for that Commissioner Krajewski wants, but anything that we do, he's been very good about bringing that forward to the commission to understand what it is.
Okay.
So any other,
So expenditure wise for the sewers, I know we're spending like larger amounts than we had in, I guess, in a previous life. But it is what's in the expenditure, the sewer fund expenditure, continuing at the same pace that we've been currently receiving bills? Or are you anticipating them to be lower?
Expenditures?
So we receive bills
Mhm.
from the sewage, and they're higher.
The treatment, okay, I
Yes.
get you, what you're saying, yeah. On the treatment, the finance committee has calculated that
Based,
based on the new usage rate,
okay,
but that's gonna be changed more than likely because the town has already increased for the next 4 years the pass-through that the county, so that 5.6521 is gonna go up, which will be an increase already approved, or I said a pass-through, I guess I should say, to the residents.
okay, so that'll be an
And a little bit, it's more money on the,
offsetting.
correct. Mhm.
So I just was wondering what in the sewer expenditures, that would be what the bills we receive for sewage treatment, right?
On some, yeah, on some of these.
Those expenditures are based on what we're actually experiencing this year.
Yes, that
Okay.
appears what they did.
Okay.
Mhm.
okay, any other questions from Commissioner President before we open it up?
The commissioner's not present. I'm good.
Okay, can we open it up then, Mary?
Yes, Mary Beth, are you there?
I am here.
Oh, okay. Do you, Mary Beth is going to be our moderator today.
Going to be the moderator as well as
As a resident. Do we have anyone that wishes to comment on the budget discussion to the commission?
Okay, let me look, and we have 7 attendees.
Okay,
If anyone wishes to speak, please raise their hand and they will have 3 minutes. At this time, does anyone have anything they would like to say to the commission? I do not see hands raised, but
okay.
let me
thank
give
you
it just
very
one
much.
more second. Hold on, let me just see. I might go back to them one more time. I've never been the, attendee monitor before.
Please don't
Nope.
let us.
No, I'm not going to let you down. No
Please
hands
let us
raised.
know. Okay. please do.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So then we will move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the town administrator job description. So we had voted to move forward with considering a town administrator, and the mayor was taking the lead on developing a position description, which you all have before you. Is there comment from the commission about that?
I had a couple small things, just
Yeah,
small
okay.
details. When it comes to reporting relationships, reports to town commission and then supervises all town employees. I was looking at some other town administrator job descriptions, and I felt an important point might be supervises all town employees as well as staff authority with Indian Shores Police Department, Seminole Madeira Fire Rescue, and Pinellas County Code Enforcement. So that he would also, or she would also have a responsibility in those regards as supervision.
The only thing I'm thinking on also is the town clerk position in the charter. It is approved, by the commission.
Right.
And I think that should stay that way, that the town administrator would not have supervisory over the town clerk position, that would be independent and only through the commission.
So it wouldn't be all town employees. We'd specify the town employees.
Well,
Yes.
where will I?
Okay, so if you're in reporting relations, on the first page, there's general description and reporting
Oh, I
relations.
see, okay. got it.
So reports to
Okay.
town commission, fine. We're in this, who this person supervises. So
I see.
it would, so you're saying it would not be all town employees,
Right, if you go down in the essential functions,
okay?
directs and supervises the administration of all departments, offices, agencies, and contracts. I think that's where that comes in with the code enforcement and your fire and police, sort of like the liaison and working with them for the commission.
Mhm.
And of the town, except as otherwise provided by the town charter or by law. And I think the town clerk would fall underneath that because of the town charter. And being,
And can we ask the Human Resource Committee to review that and clarify it? Would that be something?
That would be great.
Absolutely,
Why don't
and
we give
then-
them our questions and concerns and have them then compare it with town charter and
That's really a
make,
good idea.
I don't know.
Sure, so what you basically want to do is send this job description to
With our thoughts.
okay, so you're going to give me a list of thoughts, each of you independently?
Or we can just, we
And I-
need to discuss them here and then move
Mhm.
forward with them.
Mhm.
Now, I guess what I've said with supervisors, where it says all town employees, but you pointed out that it, under essential position functions, it says directs and supervisors, all departments,
Right, but we
offices
can
and
have them
agencies.
clarify that too.
So whether it needs to be in both spots, it is under reporting, it is under supervisory capacity, so it might be in both spots. But anyway,
So the administration of all departments, offices, agencies. Okay.
and then Mary brought forth the point whether we should look into the town clerk, would it be consistent
Yeah.
with the charter?
Mhm.
I like that. Under essential position functions, where it says recommends the hiring, discipline, removal, and other related personnel matters to town commission. This
Oh,
is
I see.
a bullet statement too. I would add recommends the hiring, discipline, removal, evaluation, promotion, and other related personnel matters. I would add evaluation and promotions, because would this
That's gonna
person
be-
not do a performance evaluations and stuff for the people they supervise?
Evaluation and what?
Yep.
This is a whole new
Evaluation,
position for
yeah.
the town, so.
Evaluation and then comma promotion
That-
and other related.
But would they work along with that department head? I mean,
Yeah.
They are
not
the,
ever working with a city manager or town administrative form of government. My understanding is this town administrator is coming in to help with help the commission with the day-to-day operations and work, working for them and with them in their departments.
and this
but
is a
then-
recommending, this says recommends, so it would be like this person would come to the commission, whoever their whatever the responsible commissioners would be, and they would recommend. So they would say, this is an evaluation I would recommend, what is your input? They wouldn't actually do it on their own, it's as a recommending function.
I don't- yeah, my notion of this whole business is that I want to get commissioners out of the business of being supervisors
Yeah.
of employees.
Let them come to,
I would expect that this administrator is making, is part of the evaluation process. That they are going to commissioners, particularly commissioners that have oversight of a particular function, and asking for input, but I don't want this being, and what their recommendations are so that they can put that together. I don't. You gotta give this person enough authority to do their job and manage the administration of the town and employees.
yeah, I mean, it specifically says here, recommends the hiring, blah, 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 and all personal matters to the town commission. So it's basically the person who formulates the thoughts, the ideas, proposes the recommendation and then brings it to the commission, and the commission can say, yeah, I agree with that, or no, or
Let's-
consider this.
Okay, so like the deputy clerk position,
Mhm.
would the administrator do that deputy clerk's evaluation, or would the town clerk do it?
That's why the Human Resources Committee needs to look at this. Because if they decide that the administrator does not supervise the town clerk, then that brings to light the
Mhm.
deputy clerk. Who does that report to? So I think those are issues that are very, very
I
important.
think you're right too, because this is, some of this stuff is, we need to clarify within this, then, the commissioners have, been responsible for things before. I think it needs to be very, very succinct as far as what, things that the commissioners used to do, that the administrator would then do, otherwise we're gonna have a problem.
Right.
And that would be the HR committee, that's what they're, why they're there.
I don't think commissioners should be in a habit of hiring and firing employees. I think that you have
That's not our job.
No, that's not our job.
Mhm.
Frankly, in my opinion, if this person.
It has been.
If this, yeah.
Fine.
But I don't think it should.
Mhm.
And in my opinion, I think, and we have to look at the charter, obviously. But if this administrator is not supervising in some capacity, the town clerk and every other employee, then I have a real question about the value of having a position.
Okay.
So I would agree that it needs a personnel committee review, so it is really, so that it is really clear.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I would, I can set that meeting up with them. I would, besides what here, if you all have read this, and if you have anything you would want me to bring forth to them at the meeting,
Include,
so we don't
yeah,
lose anything, just send me individually.
Okay,
our notes and stuff that we've made on.
what we
Right.
think, what we want.
Right. Mhm. or what you have questions or
Mhm.
clarification.
I had a couple other just little, do
Yeah.
you want to hear them or?
Yeah, I do.
On page 2, about 1/3 of the way down the page, it talks about preparing and submitting an annualized itemized budget. So I thought that somehow it should be in conjunction with the FAC or with, I mean, how will the Financial Advisory Committee fit into this? How do you see that working? Should we somehow incorporate that into this item?
I don't think you need to be that
Okay,
in the weeds where that's concerned. That's just part of it. We know what the financial advisory committee's role is.
okay,
And theirs is to make, recommendations. They don't engage in evaluating different
Departments.
departments
Mhm.
or doing anything other than what we ask them to do. So
Okay.
they're not off on their own.
Mhm.
And the expectation would be, since we have a FAC, and since we have someone who's responsible over the budget, whether it's me or whether it's, the mayor, or whether it's someone else, they're gonna have those expectations. We're the one that's gonna vote on it. If an administrator came to me, for instance, if an administrator came to me or if Mary came to me, Mary doesn't do that. Came to me and said, here's the budget, let's go, this is all there is. And wasn't doing what she does now, which is push that to the FAC to get information from them.
okay.
They wouldn't be doing the job right.
Okay, sounds good, sounds good. On about halfway down the page, it starts with keeps the commission fully advised as the financial condition and future needs of the town. I would say keeps the commission fully advised as the financial condition and future policy and ordinance needs of the town and makes recommendations to the commission concerning affairs of the town. I would like this person to bring to us what ordinances need to be updated and revised, or what policies need to be included or changed.
In regards to finances, or maybe you want to do another bullet.
Well, it
Yeah.
could be another bullet. It worked okay there. When I read the other, I just thought it fit in there, but it could be another bullet. Yeah, I just hate to make it so many bullets that
Right.
are just out.
Yeah, because this is kind of,
And then on further down, what it says studies and makes recommendations to the commission related to salaries, duties, responsibilities, safety, and morale, everything with personnel. I think this is a good one. Approves and coordinates scheduled absences to ensure continuity of service.
or did you add that?
I added a sentence.
That's really great.
Because we need to be very careful with, as small as we are, scheduling vacations and off time so
Right.
that we can continue service without stress
You're absolutely
or
right.
without commissioners jumping in to do things. I just think that's kind of an important component.
Would you read that sentence again for me? Senator?
Well, I don't know exactly what I want to say, but approves and coordinates scheduled absences to
Right.
ensure continuity of service.
Right.
And then there's one section I think missing. It's the last thing on the last page. There's something now called selection guidelines, and we've added it in some of the newer performance or whatever the job descriptions. And it says all duties listed above direct only illustrations and stuff. It's sort of I think it's
Oh,
I just cut it out of another job description and put it in. It's just another section. It's kind of legalese.
Yeah.
It's that the duties listed above are intended only as illustrations of various types of work that may be performed, the mission of such, blah, blah. That's it. But other than that, I thought it was
Kind of one of those, anything else to tell you to do.
kind of, yeah.
So, yeah, anything you want to give me to.
Yep.
For them, yep. No,
This
that you
has-
would want for the.
That was it.
personnel
Those were
committee.
just from my human resource days.
okay.
Okay, so we're gonna provide
Mary.
information to Mary that she can push to the personnel committee about this. I really hope is that the personnel committee will come back with a position description that's succinct and strong enough to cover the position that's consistent with other.
Or charter and, yeah.
Yeah, consistent with the chart. Yeah. Okay. So, that's that item. Is there any comment any further comment from the commission?
I don't think so.
Okay, Mary?
Mary Beth, do we have any comments from our attendees?
Let me check. If any attendees would like to comment on this agenda item, please raise your hand. And I will call on you and you'll have 3 minutes. I'm looking for any hands. I do not see any hands at this time. I'll give it another second. No hands.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay, so we can go on to the next item. But before we do that, or ask to do that, I would ask the commission to think about, because I want to talk about this before it's done. The selection process, okay? The administrative position, the building official position, and even the maintenance position, if we move forward to that.
Right.
Those are important. Those are important positions for the town.
Right.
Who interviews, how we do it, and so forth, I think is important. I think for the administrative position is concerned, for instance, given the fact that this person has some financial responsibility,
Right.
involvement over the town, and that is such a big piece of what the expectation is. I, for one, would like members of the FAC to be engaged in some sort of screening process. So it's not just.
That's a really good idea.
I know we have an issue, and I talked with Mary about it before we came, before we got together here, just a minute before we got together. You know, we've got a problem where, you know, we can't meet together to do anything unless we do it in an open meeting. But I would hope that as individual commission members, we would have an opportunity to meet with or get interview on our own these high-level positions particularly. So, and then prior to making a decision, we may have, you know, candidates in to do that.
And I like that. I would also say that we need to, like, I would, like, with regard to this building official, which I would love to do the initial screening. And if I think the applicant is not a viable candidate, I'm not going to waste anybody's time with allowing second interviews and whatever.
Yeah, I don't.
But
have a
I
problem with
really
that.
think-
that's
I really think that would be a great idea to have qualified candidates, have a brief meeting with
Right.
each of the commissioners for an agreement.
Right. So, but it makes sense to have the person whose department that is do the initial screening.
You had to weed out
Right. The draft. Yeah.
unless you think.
So are you saying that in these positions, each commissioner should meet with the person individually, and then you would have like a public meeting just going over
then
what
we
you
can
all
vote.
would perfectly, you know, yeah.
To the public
Wait,
meeting.
so like, for instance, so the building official, let's say, so Cindy would screen candidates, and some you're not even gonna ask the commissioners to talk to, right? Like a finalist,
If I find,
one or two, you would have them have
absolutely,
a
I mean, I think,
conversation either by phone or in person with that person, and then would we talk about this at a workshop or go straight to a vote at a meeting?
Well, I just want to make sure of, you know, you all have your individual supervisory areas. You have you have a administration supervisor who happens to be the mayor,
Mhm,
and the HR supervisor who happens to be the mayor.
mhm.
So does maybe you are saying you want to do the building one
Mhm.
first,
The
and then
screening.
do you turn it over maybe to the HR or the administration?
I
I
just
just want
say
to
that-
make sure you
right.
all are and
I-
then individually, I don't know.
I just think sometimes in a business process, you would have all the people who touch and feel this person, who this person impacts.
Mhm.
They would have, like, you'd meet in a group, and you would have discussion. Well, in our case, we can't do that because of sunshine laws. So in this instance, it wouldn't be just one additional commissioner. It would be all the commissioners and separate times, that we could just have like 15-minute, have the person
Sure.
come in and have 15-minute meetings. You have succinctly the
like a
questions
round
and things you
robin,
want to
yeah.
say, and boom. So the person comes in, leaves, next person in, leaves, and then that way we do that component of an interview to all of us say we give our blessing to this person, or maybe they have a red flag that I wouldn't see.
Mhm.
Yeah, Madeira Beats has probably had more experience with this interviewing
Yeah.
managers. Maybe we should
What
ask
about it?
what they've learned in their journey to hiring administrative personnel.
And maybe the
I get what you're saying, and that's normally in like more of a corporate environment. You would have
It's a
interview
little-
with the
it's a
whole
little simpler
group.
in a
Yeah.
corporate
yeah. This,
environment
but
to
we
be-
could
But
easily do
individually,
this,
you're
know?
right. I just don't know if we would, and I'm thinking specifically for the building person. So each one of us would talk to the person the candidate that you put forth, that you've screened. And then I don't know if once we talk to that person, then do we,
In
then we have to even do,
workshop.
then we have to do a workshop about it and
Right.
express our opinion, and then at another meeting, then we would.
And we might, this might be an essence of time. It might be a special workshop or a special
Mhm.
meeting, we
Yeah,
you're
call
right,
it, because
you're
we
right.
don't have time to wait another month for another month for another
Right.
month.
Yeah, I just want to make I
There's a
want to make
special
sure that
meeting.
we all have an
Input.
opportunity, particularly for critical positions, that we have an opportunity to talk with an individual, voice up, and then amongst ourselves, be able to voice our
Right.
opinion, so that we make intelligent decisions.
I think what Mary's talking about, sorry if I interrupted you,
Yeah.
what Mary's talking about is, we were talking about like the job description should go to the HR committee. But I don't know that we necessarily need the individual candidates then to go before the HR.
No,
committee.
no,
Okay,
no,
yeah,
no,
all
no,
right, I just
no,
want to clarify
no,
that.
That's
That's not what you meant.
No.
Okay,
Yeah, to me, we're looking for the person that has the expertise and the responsibility to be somewhat a filter for us.
right.
Okay, so, building official, that seems to be.
Mhm.
Send,
Yeah.
I have no problem since you oversee maintenance for, what we're looking for there to come up with some.
Right.
Candidates, and the mayor having responsibility for administration and the
Yeah.
deputy clerk and the clerk.
Mhm.
In the administrative, that's a role that they
Mhm.
would have.
Oh, I do have a question since we're talking about these positions. Are we only posting for this like locally? We're not looking for candidates
Are you gonna speak to
countrywide?
are you speaking to me building?
Oh, any of the, no,
So-
any of the positions.
Well, the building and the town administrator, you have to have approval first that you want to post for these positions. I believe your topic that's coming up is whether it should be a full-time or part-time position, right?
No, it's actually just the posting of.
Oh, okay.
But to that question, we had identified 3 areas of posting, and I would like to have a 4th area identified. So no, we would stay probably within Florida. I don't know, but we don't even have to. We have-
certain licenses.
right,
so
and
you're
it's
gonna
a
be-
foot.
you're gonna be-
Oh, okay.
But-
yeah, with
But
that,
but I think we were going like Florida League of
For that.
Cities.
Oh,
We were
definitely
going with the
Florida League
building.
of
The building
Cities, yeah.
officials have an association, an official association, and that was actually a cost to advertise for that, but that would be one we would advertise with. I personally intend to rattle some bushes as much as I can, and as much as I can find out where I can rattle those bushes.
Wait, so there's a charge with League of Cities to be?
Not the League of Cities, there's a charge
The
with
Building
the building
Officials
officials.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Association.
yeah, okay, that's right.
And that's a great place to advertise. So, I mean, we're just gonna have to we're gonna look at the possibilities and options, and I plan to check with other municipalities and see
Right.
where they might recommend I go.
So, but for the administrative position, I would think that we could cast a wide net for that, no?
Yeah, or your maintenance person, your PC or them, you know. you could
That
find
one,
some-
that's-
you could
that
find
one-
Somebody from New York that wanted to move forward.
That one, actually, we've had posted,
Oh,
and we have 3.
I've talked to 3 candidates. Good.
Have you talked to 3?
Well, no, not talked to 3, but I know of 3,
There's 3 in.
right?
I think we
Oh,
just had a
okay.
phone call about another one, so. But yes, but
Yeah.
that and the deputy clerk is already advertised, and that's out throughout Florida on the deputy clerk.
Do we put our job openings on the town Facebook page, and do we put them on the marquee out front?
No, we haven't. We
Put
just,
'em on
we put them on the
yeah.
webpage.
You
Webpage.
don't want to stand theater. People here on vacation.
now hiring, yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I would like to go to professional sites where the
Yeah.
professionals that we want to draw would be. I really don't care if everyone on Facebook knows that we need a building official. I want a qualified, intelligent,
Agreed.
credentialed
Agreed.
official.
I know
And I'm
Pinellas
not gonna-
Park does that on Facebook. It looks very nice. They list all their different positions. Some are building official, maybe one, and got down to, I guess they have a pool and they have lifeguards.
Mhm.
Should go apply for that.
Okay, so I got,
No.
kind of got a sidebar there. that
Yes,
we need to have
I like it, yeah.
I'm happy that we did.
All right.
So
So
Just-
you're building official.
I really just want to, at a previous commission workshop, we discussed the options for the building department staffing. We all felt that every one of us felt that if we could keep our building department in-house, that would better serve our community. We also understood that we could hire a full-time building official for the same amount that we are currently paying Safe Built. Finding a qualified full-time building official may be difficult, but we will never know until we try and fail. In the next few months, I have in the few months that I've had the building department oversight, it's clear to me that our town would clearly benefit from a full-time building official. A full-time building official will be able to complete work on a more timely basis, give more concentrated attention to plan review and all the components associated with it, answer build questions, know our codes and ordinances, meet with citizens and contractors to discuss building issues, be out in the field to do quality inspections and preview new building sites and complex remodels. Look for building violations, be our eyes and ears to building issues, and create systems, procedures, and practices that ensure an effective operation. This is not possible with a part-time building official. To this end, I'm suggesting that we advertise for this full-time building official. I'm not saying it'll be easy. I'm not saying that they're out there in the hand, by the dozens. But if we don't try, we will be sorely remiss in what we owe to our town to deliver good services.
I think, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think outsourcing is great. And there's a place for it. When it works great. But I think that have been missing, and I think you probably have spent more time in the building department when you were volunteering at the front desk, you saw, you kind of got it. And I think you're a really good manager. Like, you can see that sometimes it's not the person, it's the system, so you can see that there's bottlenecks. I don't know how vested an outsourced person is in helping us figure out what our bottlenecks are and how to improve it and make it better and make the job easier. I don't know that an outsourced company, sometimes an independent contractor or somebody, an outsourced company, they have more of a vested interest in keeping it inefficient. So,
Well, I don't know that. I only know that I fully and wholeheartedly believe that if we get the right person and we give them the right amount of time to dedicate, we can have a much better service than what we have now. And I'm not saying that it will be easy, but I'd love the opportunity to give it a try.
So I'm a little bit confused here, okay? Because we've already had this.
I know. It's just,
We decided.
agreed
just
to it.
Exactly, and we agreed just exactly as you said.
but we
is
did,
that we would prefer having an in-house building official rather than contracting out. We also agreed that if we could not find a qualified building official, then we would in fact strongly consider contracting it out. So we've already given you the go-ahead to do that. Are you telling me that we don't have a job announcement out for this?
we advertised it and then I was asked to pull back and get the commission's approval to actually post this job.
You had our commission.
I thought I did. I thought I did, but I was, I was
From,
our legal team that I should get an actual agreement from the
Consensus.
commission to actually post this job. So, you know, that I'm just so
Oh,
basically,
you had it posted, then you pulled it.
I pulled it.
Oh,
you,
so we
you
can have
had,
this.
you've
workshop.
You've had our commission.
I
Are
thought-
you telling me that legal wants us to have a
I've,
vote on whether you can do that? And if we do that, then we gotta have another, we gotta wait till our meeting to do it? I
Do
mean,
you-
that's ridiculous.
they,
We're not hiring anybody, we're making an announcement.
So
You
I
know,
think
it's-
it, I
to me,
don't,
it's not, to me, it's not any different than the agreement that we have from the commission that I brought up before, and I need to go back to the budget to tell you I'm moving forward with it, which is to advertise for legal services. We agreed to do that before in the past, and said we were gonna do it as part of this. You know, I'm not waiting around for another vote to do that.
Okay.
We'll have a vote on whether or not we hire a person.
right,
Okay.
right.
Right?
So this is, okay, so then I'm really confused.
Yeah, that's my confusion.
Well,
so
hey,
why don't we just end it with consensus
Let's
is
do it.
from
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
give me
all that it
consensus.
was already approved and go ahead and advertise.
perfect. We're ready to go.
It's
so-
the same way with this administrator position, you know, get it out there. I mean, we'll tweak the position description, you know, we can do that.
Yeah.
Do you have some tweaks to your position description that you wanted to discuss or not? Anyone?
Oh, to the building
The
official?
building.
No, that, I mean, I didn't. Oh, it's attached. That's right. Yeah, we included it.
It's included
Is that
in-
number 5 or
I
what?
think it pretty much,
No,
it's
I think I just
number
included
3.
it to-
Oh, I have 3.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I have it. So this is good, so I'm gonna post it and that's it.
You're done.
Super.
And again, you know, we agreed that if we can find a qualified building official, we'll hire them. If we can't, we'll
Yeah.
outside.
Yep.
And I agree with your comments that you made earlier. Some things are easier
It can be great.
outsourcing, managed.
When it's
some
great, it's
sewer
good.
system is great, it's different.
Yeah.
Than this, yeah.
When it's great, it's great.
Look,
When
yeah,
it's not,
it's
it's
not.
not.
And we also have a great balance because we're not desperate. We actually have
what?
coverage.
I'll tell you what, just a comment, since we're a workshop, is that I feel like with Cinda's oversight of that department, if we have a building official and really crystallize like a system, like have really a procedure, like a documentable procedure, then once we have that, once you have the system in place, then you could put a safe built in. And there would be buffers and safeguards and things like that. You'd have an actual system to plug a safe built person, I shouldn't say safe built, like an independent contractor, an outsourcing company into.
It'd certainly be
Once
easy.
you have the system, but it has to be our system that we create based on our town and the way the needs that we have. That's what I believe, is that then down the road, the personnel could be almost like interchangeable. You know what I'm saying?
I think with where you're headed with this software package,
Mhm.
from what I
will help
understand
tremendous.
That's gonna give us just
That's
a team
true.
laying up and managing that. It's gonna be a lot better for the residents too.
Mhm.
They're
I
gonna be-
agree.
They're gonna be more satisfied and,
That's the
and
main
we're gonna
thing.
have less frustrated and so are we.
Agreed.
Okay, so that's,
Okay, we'll be posted.
all right, so Mary, any
Mary Beth, do we have any comments from our attendees to the commission?
Okay, let me go and look at the list.
Okay.
Hold on. Our attendees are all still on there. Doesn't appear that anybody has raised their hand yet. I see no hands raised.
Okay,
I
thank you very much.
think we are good.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is ordinances. Whose item is that?
I think it's mine,
Okay,
because it has to do with the beach, correct?
Well, actually, if I can.
Yeah.
There was two ordinances that Indian Shores amended theirs and was suggesting to be consistent that we amend ours, and that had to do with the electric motorized vehicles on the beach and the on animals on the beach. The other one, I think, I'm not sure if it was a mistake to put on there, was a resolution that was attached with some paperwork they sent down regarding their code enforcement, and our code enforcement is fine. I don't think we need to touch base on that and what Attorney Rubenstein had put in their letter, so it's basically just the beach ordinance and the animal ordinance. And they're in there on what they did. So,
so both of the ordinance issues in my view, they've been talked about time and time again
mhm.
within Big C, in the whole desire by Big C.
Oh, the electric bike?
Yeah, the
yeah.
electric bikes in particular.
Right,
Is where any of these Fairfield Island ordinances are concerned with control behavior. You know, the last Big C that we were at, they were talking about where these electric bikes could be parked, whether they were on the sidewalks or whether they were anywhere else. And there was conversation about that. And every time we're in one of those meetings is let's take whoever has developed the ordinance on there that makes sense,
Right.
and we can all adopt it, ourselves so that it's consistent. So I have no problem with that. Trying to be consistent with communities, and it's particularly good to be consistent with Indian Shores if we can, since the PD is doing our
Right.
enforcement, so they're not having to decide which line in the sand do I stand on.
So the one that they have, if you see in their ordinance for the electric bikes for the beach ordinance, they're 2021-05. On the second page, they've added verbiage about the electric bicycles and or other motorized devices and vehicles.
Marlboro said.
It's their ordinance 2021-05. And we have we would
here's
amend
something.
our ordinance to add that if the commission wishes to do so. I will set that up with the attorneys to get that going for first reading.
My guess is, and I don't know for sure, but I know because Serrano was all part of this discussion at at Big C, that this is the ordinance that's consistent with what Big C suggested. So I just want to make sure of that.
Yeah, I know they discussed that at one of the Big C meetings
Yeah.
about, so I think, putting that, yeah, I think it would probably be
Yeah,
fine.
we just want to make sure that, it follows them. It follows their, whatever model it is that everyone else is using.
Gotcha, okay.
I think that, I don't know if we have to specify this or not, but I was at the beach one night and I don't know what they call them now, hoverboard. A
They-
hoverboard.
Is
or
that a
like
motorized?
Like a Segway, yeah,
Yeah. So
dangerous.
this. So yeah, I want to say that this came up even at the last Big C that we were at, but the mayor wasn't. And there was some talk about maybe Madeira or Treasure Island, because they were talking about not just bikes, but they're talking about scooters and talking about these other
Micro-
devices as well. So my thing would be, and maybe it's two different ordinances, maybe I'm confused here.
If that,
And I wouldn't be surprised that I'm confused.
it does,
So
ha-
one of them dealt with these items on the beach, and another one dealt with items on the site.
Oh, yeah, they were.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, you were there too.
yeah, this one from Indian Shores does talk about, and this is only for the beach.
Yeah,
It's not
okay.
motorized scooters, devices, may not traverse the beach and sandy shores areas. What else do they say? Electric bicycles or other motorized devices and vehicles. So the
Yeah,
scooters and all that, the segways that you see that
Yep.
have that are motorized, I
Yeah.
think this covers it.
Was it St. Pete Beach that was working on an ordinance that person stepped up and spoke?
Might have been.
I
I
think
know
it
it
was
was St. Pete
St.
Beach or Treasure Island.
that might
because
check
they
and see.
had bigger problems.
Yeah.
For this same thing, Commissioner?
It was
Yeah.
St. Pete Beach. I remember the mayor's, it was St. Pete Beach, and I think they were working on a model for also the
I
sidewalk.
thought- I could swear, I thought that there was some reason why we couldn't regulate this. Like if we said no electric bikes on the beach, that then we would have to disallow.
No, there was a change.
Right.
In that they, the state that changed it, and then Brandis changed it back a little bit. So we're safe now.
We're allowed to.
Yeah,
All right, okay. All right.
okay, so,
So I will look into those and see if have our attorneys, get some, just so you can review beforehand with amending hours.
yeah, just ask, Big C, who's, because they were supposed to have models of all this stuff that everybody was adopting.
Yep, I got that.
So we get that, then we're all.
Mhm. Okay.
That's fine.
So anything else on this? You want to talk about
Let's go to the animals on the beach.
animals on the beach?
I have to say, my biggest thing in looking at our ordinance and looking at the other town ordinances is that our ordinance is a little wimpy because it says, up to $500 fine. I think it should just be 500 bucks. I mean, not up to, that's like, people think, oh, well, I can afford $100. Let me bring my doggy on the beach, But I think wait, out the gate, $500 fine, and then if the officer, whoever, whatever officer, then it's up, they can use their individual discretion and judgment about, in this case, I'll give you a warning or something like that, or you know, call it something else and not have it be $500 or whatever, but to have a, I would like to be able to post a little sign that says ordinance, blah, blah, blah. No dogs on the beach, $5 fine. That's what I really want, is the sign that says, the deal, folks.
So my only question is, would that be legally permissible?
We'd have to ask the
Yeah,
attorney.
a lot of fines are, you know, up to, there's some discretionary level, you know, in that. And, you know, misdemeanors are punishable by X amount of time. I mean, it's the same thing we have, the issue with the whole nonsense about, you know, short-term rentals, and if you violate it, you can go to jail. Well, that's because it's part of the, you know, misdemeanor statute. So, you know,
I don't see if it would be a problem if we say up to $500, why we can't just say
We'll find
$500?
out.
You
we'll
know,
find out, we'll find out.
if anybody has any, I get this so constantly, and I understand it. People who, you know, obey the rules, number one. Number two, people that live on the beach, you know, they're paying for their view. They're not paying to look at Fido. You know, and it's very frustrating for people who are rule followers out there to see people breaking the rules and there not being a consequence for it, or from their perception.
Yeah.
And I know the police, when there is a complaint about a dog, the police do go out there. But by then, you know, the dog's long gone, whatever. But I think it would be great for our citizens to be able to tell people, hey, you know, that's a $5 fine. You know, there's no tooth in it if they just say, well, could be up to a $5 fine, you know? I want the citizens to be empowered to say, that's a $5 fine.
You want the big stick and you want to swing it too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to give them
That's fine.
something,
Yeah.
you know, to
All right, well,
you know, we need to be serious. I'm so just the constant, I know you get them too, Mike.
Yeah.
Just the constant complaints about dogs on the beach. And I totally agree. I understand it. And you know, I love dogs, but I'm not bringing a dog on the beach. Oh, anyway,
okay,
some of it is signage, some of it is enforcement. I think that also you can make all the, write all the ordinances that you want. It has to be enforceable. And I want to give the police some teeth too. And the citizens.
okay. Well,
That's it for that.
Mary's gonna look into it. Any other comment from anyone here? Okay, any comment from attendees?
Mary Beth?
I'm still here.
Oh, I'm so
Let-
glad.
Yeah. And our attendees are still here.
How many do we have?
Now we have 6. We've lost.
One passed out.
Yeah, mine. They kind of come in and out. Do we have any attendees that would like to speak about this agenda item? I see no hands.
Thank you very much.
Okay, moving on to the next item, Moby Max.
Okay, so I think to put the Moby mat, I know this, I'm telling you, to put the Moby mat in front of what seemed like the most logical place, which was the public parking lot by Broken Board across from Friendly Tavern, because there's handicap parking there. There's 2 little beach paths to get out onto the beach from the parking lot. Only one of those has a straight shot. And the little, I mean, we would have to get a permit to dig out the walkway first. And even then, if we could get the permit to just the sand that had just blown in over the path, to where the handrails for this walkway are actually almost buried. We would have to, oh my God, then we'd have to grade it from there all the way out. We'd have to then pay for a sand fence to keep the sand contained to keep the dunes from filling up the path just as soon as we dug it out. Then we would have to buy a sand fence, which is about what the Moby mat is. And now there's some, something about, and it's not just having to get, they don't want anything, the Moby mats to go out beyond the dunes. So that does a handicapped person no good at all. Right? They can't go past the dunes. It doesn't help them at all. So I don't think that's going to be viable. So I'm going to start looking at other possible beach accesses. I don't know which one, and it's unfortunate there's no other handicap parking nearby any of the other beach accesses, but maybe, let's see. Let's think about-
I have an idea.
Yeah.
What about calling a Marriott hotel that's on the beach? Call the Marriott Hotel, call Bethesda, Maryland, Marriott Hotels. Ask them, they have to have handicap accessibility.
Oh,
I've been to Marco Island and they have a mat that you lift up and you shake off. I don't, it's like got holes in it, it's rubber. And they lay it down, they pick it up, they lay it down. Maybe there's something easier. I would give that a shot,
okay.
just a thought.
Research how other people.
Being a hotel
Been a
person that you
hotel.
are, yeah.
All right.
It's not sounding with this match going to be very.
There's something on Marco Island.
Well, that location, I mean, we would have fewer restrictions maybe from another beach access. And, you know, you could have somebody come, like, for instance, other accesses such as maybe the one south of Shore Mirror, you could, if you had somebody handicapped that you were taking out there, maybe from there that would work. You know, there's like the street, you can't park there, but you could drop somebody off there in a wheelchair and they could, there's, you know, you could easily wheel someone or wheel yourself up to the walkover to the beach and then have the mat come out from there. So there's other locations. That's on the south of Shore Mariner. There's a little bit of parking lot there. The other place I was thinking of, you know, maybe Misty Isles. I don't know. Can you get in? I don't know.
Yeah, there's no parking for, at Shore Mariner, there's no public
No,
parking.
there's no
Okay.
parking, but you could drop somebody
Stop
off in a
Oh,
Stop.
gotcha.
wheelchair. You know, so I just need to look at some other possible locations. I don't think that park is gonna
So
work.
you think the location itself is prohibiting putting any kind of mat down to roll on?
Yeah, plus the parking lot, you know, it's kind of funny, that's really, it's owned by the town. We pick up the trash on the other side of the, not, I'm sorry, by the county. And
Okay.
so, you know, it,
But the county
I don't think they
cooperative.
want it there.
Really anything on the beaches.
I don't think they want it there. Like, because they're saying nothing past the, I mean. So the town, I mean, it got a very positive reception from the commission and from the townspeople. But it's like, it's easy when, it's great when you say it real fast, it sounds great.
Mhm.
But when I went out there and looked at it, it was like, oh my God.
Oh, they
oh my
say
goodness.
easier said than done.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we should still do it or investigate other possible locations for it in the town.
Okay,
Yeah.
any comment from attendees?
Mary Beth?
I'm here. Hold on one moment. Let me go over to the list. I see no hands. Let me give it another second. I can't believe everyone's being so quiet. No hands.
Thank you very much.
Okay, beach signs.
Signs.
That's yours too.
Yes, if you go to tab 6, this is just, I got I called Amy Rocks Beach, and this idea came to me when I saw these signs in Amy Rocks Beach. And just in thinking about the complaints that we get about people violating our beach rules, the dogs, the digging the giant hole. I don't know when that became a thing. But I would like to smack whoever started it, because these are really deep and very, very dangerous. Even when we were setting up that cordoned off area for the fireworks, it was like, I can't believe how many big holes that people had dug in there. It was just like crazy. It's not just kids. So anyway, also about keeping off the dunes, that's important, not disturbing the turtle nest, no glass bottles,
Everything
no
on one except for
dogs.
how, so you don't have 10 signs all over the place.
Exactly.
I really
So we
like
don't
that.
have a zillion signs. Now, I do want to go and see, I understand that the town of Gulfport that I haven't seen, they also have, I think it'd be helpful if we were to do something like this, instead of just the text, maybe little symbols, like the little circle with the slash, and a dog, circle with a slash, and the bottle,
Mhm.
saying what just symbols for people that are maybe English isn't their first language, or something to reinforce the English. You can see the picture and know what it means.
Mhm.
And so I want to go take a look at that, but something like this. And I think also that the majority of people, are rule followers, they're rule obeyers, they're compliant. But if the rules aren't right there, they'll use that as an excuse. Oh, I didn't see it. Oh, I didn't know. But I want to make this at some of the main beach accesses. Ms. Giles would be one. Before you go into the access, I need to go and check our 11 or 14 beach accesses, whatever it is, and see which ones get. I think I know which ones get the most traffic, but to look and see where we can put it so that before they go on the walkway over to the beach, that they see the sign, that they see the rules.
At the street.
Exactly. So there's no excuse.
Kind of like that sign there that says, people, our beach is safe, animals, glass, fire prohibited on the beach. Chairs, tents have to be removed.
Right, that's the chairs and tents being
Yeah.
removed too. Right, exactly.
So-
So it has to
so
go
I
out
want-
with this.
Yeah, so I'm gonna play the devil's advocate here on
Right.
signs. Is that when we closed the beaches because of COVID, we got a lot of complaints because people thought that what we were doing was blocking their view. Because they were at the far end of at the beach end of the walkway. The sign just said, beach closed or whatever, or.
Oh, at the beach end.
At the
Okay.
beach, so. I'm not as, I guess, I personally don't know if people pay that much attention to the signs. Maybe that's wrong.
But how else are you
Maybe
gonna let
something
people
that-
know the rules?
Yeah,
At least we gotta give it a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, express our rules.
I-
They're not gonna look on our website.
I have.
Before they go to the
less-
beach.
I have less concern putting those signs at the front of the beach access than I do at the beach side.
By then it's too late. They already had the dog with them. They're there.
Right.
They're gonna go.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
That's a great
and the other thing is that we do have, smaller signs like that. The thing about this sign was, it is so large, and with the blue background and white lettering, you can't, I know with the human eye, with a white background and black lettering, it can be hard to read. This you can't miss, and it's attractive. I think, I have to look at it exactly. I think each sign, now it's expensive. We're not gonna be able to do that at every single beach access.
Yeah.
Let's see, I think it was just under, it was around $1,000 per sign.
Oh, wow.
These are big signs.
Yeah.
These are big signs.
We probably
But
keep
it's
that
effective.
graph. We got kind of-
What's this, what? What'd you say?
Rip rap.
Yeah, we put one of them at that entrance that's down the north side of Long Stand to keep that brick wrap. Yeah. Kind of stuff.
Keep their dogs off.
You'll
Because
never
I think that's their answer.
rip wreck like us out.
Yeah.
You own that accent.
No, yeah. So you want to do some,
Pretty, like, so that there's no, and I really believe that this gives, um, you can't say, oh, I didn't see it. You can't say, oh, I didn't see it. It's right there and it's large. The other thing is, I think that this is helpful to the citizens that are annoyed by people breaking the rules. So the biggest rules that people break that are the most annoying are the dogs and leaving the stuff on the beach overnight.
Sometimes with the dogs, I know, the service dogs that are allowed out on the beach.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you can really question them if they're legal service dogs or not. So I think that's where, and most of them probably are.
Sure, you
I
can
just,
question.
I think we're always gonna get calls about the dogs.
yes, I think part of the attitude from, or I've heard from, the PD in the county is, if in doubt, write them a ticket, let the magistrate sort it out.
Oh, yeah.
So they're being a little more forceful.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people using that as an excuse.
Gotcha.
So these are not dogs with vests on.
Yeah.
Believe me, they,
Yeah.
if you are a service animal,
Yeah,
You-
no, I've been out there.
yeah. These are not service
And I get-
animals.
And I get complaints. just
The,
like-
oh, it's a service,
just
yeah, I
like-
know you do,
just like
yeah.
we do.
So, I think too, something like this supports the police force as well. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like they don't, if the citizen says, oh, I didn't see it, and they got on there from the misty owl's entrance and the officer knows that sign is there, he's
So,
more likely to say, okay, you're getting a ticket or here's the fine or whatever.
so it sounds like Commissioner Crawford's in support of this, and we'll see where the other commissioners
Okay.
fall out, but I'm not necessarily, I'm not opposed to it.
All right.
Okay. I would be opposed if they're trying to put them down.
No,
Please.
it's too late. It's too
Upright
late by
makes
then.
more-
So are we going to have to put this on a workshop or meeting again, or,
No, it's a regular vote for it.
oh, to move forward with going for these signs? Okay.
Yeah, I think you need more than just this, I guess. I'd like something a little more,
Oh, in writing for it.
yeah, graphic and understanding of what. the
Right.
Number that you
is.
want, the numbers that you want, where you
Yeah.
put them.
Yep.
Like we do
Yeah.
the beach, map the location, put X's where you're gonna put them.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Look, there's a little more
Then we know how much it would be.
fall
and-
out there. Okay, all right. Okay, but we have to ask if there's any comments, right?
Yes, Mary Beth?
Sorry.
Yes, let
Are
me
there
go to the
any-
attendee list. Yes, I'm looking.
Thank you.
Okay, this has got to go down as like the quietest list of attendees in any meeting ever. Nobody.
That's because the three commissioners present are just so.
So efficient.
That's it.
Let's move on to new business, which is PTO approval for part-time employees.
That's me? Okay. Currently, our personnel policy does not allow for part-time employees to earn paid time off. We really don't have a long history of employing permanent part-time employees in most recently. I don't know how many years ago, but I would like to amend our personnel policy for paid time off for such employees, meaning our part-time employees, that we include vacation, sick, and holiday time earned on a prorated basis for all permanent part-time personnel that are regularly scheduled 24 hours or more per week. And again, that number 24, that's like 3 days of, if someone is regularly scheduled for 3 days of work, they can earn on a prorated basis the same holidays, sick, and vacation that our full-time employees earn. This is not for health benefits. This is just for what's called paid time off. The personnel committee can look at this and make a recommendation, but I just feel it's we have a person now that is here working hard every day, and it comes time for a holiday, you can't get paid their prorated 5 hours for the holiday pay, or they take a vacation and it's unpaid, where they could have been paid 28 hours for the week or something. So it's on a prorated basis. That's it. I'd just like to offer that. So how are you all found it?
I have a quick question about the PTO. Is the PTO, I think it's one of the companies, daycare, where it's just PTO, it's all PTO, whether it's vacation or sick time.
So let's not even call it PTO.
No,
It's vacation, sick, and holiday. Oh,
I'm curious. Is it that way here?
No,
You have to specify
vacation, sick,
either tummy ache,
mhm,
okay.
and usual sick time, yeah.
So-
So, then am I sending this to the,
personnel committee.
okay, and you'll
And-
give me something written up that they
Sure.
would, okay,
Determine that the hour threshold would be a big thing. And that would be, I don't know what's out there now, what the hour threshold is
okay.
generally accepted for accruing vacation, sick, and holiday.
okay.
And they do it exactly in the same policy that we have for full-time. They'd have to be
Right.
however many months in probation before they start to earn, and then they earn it on a prorated basis. That's
Yeah,
it.
I wanted to see something to go on.
Yeah, okay.
Mary Beth, do we have any comments?
Let me check.
All righty.
I am looking at the, oh, we have a hand. It's raised. Hold on one moment. It is Lisa Hendrickson. Okay, Lisa, you're going to have to unmute. There you go. Your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Hello, Commissioners. Lisa Hendrickson here, your Personnel Chair, 17960 Sunset Reef, Gulf Boulevard. And I just wanted to acknowledge I'm listening to your meeting this afternoon. I do see a lot of work coming our way. And based on the last discussion to update the manual, I just wanted to throw out there that if you want the committee to look at the manual at the same time for who the employees report to as it relates to hiring your town administrator, it might be good for us to do that at the same time.
I think that, yeah, both those items we would throw to the personnel committee.
Yeah, the personnel
absolutely.
committee, yes, that was on the town administrator job description with those questions that came up, Lisa. And now for the PTO, and we also have the review from the labor attorney, right?
Yes, that is correct. That's in regards to the drug and alcohol manual, though.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. But there's a lot of comment throughout the employee manual that states things such as when an employee calls in sick, they call the town clerk. So there'll be a few amendments throughout based on the final decision of the commission as to who reports to who.
Yeah, that would be a good look. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lisa. All right, I do not see any other hands raised at this time.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so that ends our agenda items. Do we have open this to, no, not a workshop. Okay. Any other comments from,
I have 3 quick comments.
okay,
I want everyone to know that I am currently working on a shed ordinance, basically with referring to setbacks for really property that is like landlocked, non-view lot property. It's currently 15 feet for rear setback. And some of our lots are so small, it's not really practical to have 5-foot setback, side setbacks, and then 15-foot rear setbacks. So I'm kind of looking at changing that, seeing if the size of the sheds are right, if definitions right, if a non-conversion agreement is required. So I'm in the process of that. I just want to let you know. So if you have any input or you want to throw something on my desk to consider, I will. The pile foundations, I'm looking at, right now we're pounding piles. We have a lot of new buildings going on, and we are pounding piles into our, I don't know, our land. And the vibrations are shaking some of our non-conforming slab foundation homes. And so I'm looking into if we could have some ordinance requirements that will help to mitigate some of the effects of this pounding, like having pre-drilling a little bit of some pilings, having monitoring, vibration monitoring by the piling companies, having pre-assessments done of the homes around the area where these pilings are. Some of these things are recommended by engineers when they send their reports in,
Yeah.
and some engineers don't recommend it. So I think we need to take a look at how can we best protect the homes, these close homes, from suffering damage, or if they do suffer damage, to hold the piling companies accountable for paying for the damage. So anyway, looking into that, just want you to know that. And then the last thing, as your building commissioner, I was deeply concerned. I know we have all been deeply concerned with the condo collapse at Surfside. And I want to suggest that in view of this recent building collapse in Surfside and the devastating loss of life, I would like to know what your thoughts are that the town of Redington Shores initiate a letter to the boards of condominiums over 30 years of age in our town, that we would encourage them, if they haven't done so already, to conduct an electrical and structural engineering evaluation and make any necessary repairs to ensure building safety. This would not take accountability on our behalf at all for making that happen. It would just be that the commission, as a body that is here to protect the safety and well-being of our town, that we encourage condos to take a look at their structural safety and take action if it's intended. And I did go through, and I have a report of 15 condos that are all well over 30 years of age, that if you've got mine, passing this down. These are
I've got one already.
okay, these are the condos 30 years of age and older. I don't know. I just think that as a body that is concerned with the health and welfare of our citizens, that we should at least send a letter out encouraging condos to take a look at their structural and electrical safety of their building. So I don't know what y'all think about that.
This is being discussed at the state level. It's being discussed at the county level. Big C had a discussion about it. It'll take a long time before, and I also
Wait, legislation.
I also understand from the state level, or from Miami-Dade, that they're talking about, they have that inspection requirement, and they're talking about reducing the number of years.
And I'm not talking about
I
having
think legislation will take a long
Long
time,
time.
just like you said. So I'm not opposed to being
Just
Proactive.
Proactive on it. I think that should be drafted by
The
our
attorneys.
though.
Absolutely.
And
I've
make
been
sure
in,
that we're not doing something.
I've had conversation with
Yeah.
our attorneys, and we just recognize that this legislation that's going to mandate inspections is going to come. It's going to take a while. Could be 1 year, 2 years. In the meantime, we have condos that are 49 years old, 40 years old, 39 years old, 40 years old, 46 years old, 38 years old. And just to encourage these boards, take a look at your safety and security of your building.
So if we ask
Then
the attorneys to do
to
that,
draft it,
is
just
that
to come-
something they bring back to us? at
And
our
then
commission meeting?
could I bring it, if you,
Okay, it that way, or what do
Yeah,
we have to do?
that's what I was thinking.
I would think if.
Do we have to do that?
You can ask them to draft something up, and then maybe if you want to, at another workshop, discuss, here's the letter. I don't know if you formally have to have a vote on
No,
sending it
no.
out.
Can we bring-
Just put it as a
Commission.
item for information to do it on. I'd really do it sooner rather than
Right.
later.
Yeah,
So
get-
I would have it get it done so we could do it
At the commission meeting.
Yeah.
And then
We
we could say whether we want to.
If we would be remiss in our responsibility to this town if we did not issue a letter
So
like
then
that.
You're gonna get a hold of the attorney then.
And I've already been in touch with them, so
Okay.
I can ask them, please just
For next-
draft something
next
for
week.
our, yeah,
Meetings next
yeah, and I
Wednesday.
know that, yep, I will do that.
Okay, one of the other things, since we're covering a couple other items that were on the agenda. One of the things that I asked Larry about, and I talked with the attorney about as well, is we passed this ordinance with regard to short-term rental notification to owners of those properties to make sure that they understood that they are required to do this. A nice letter that informs them of that, and then one that's a little stronger where that's concerned. So I understand that they did provide a letter which clarified where that all properties are responsible for it that are in the CPF, correct? Or in
Yes. Yes, anyone that we know, and the CTF, yes.
So I want to make sure that that our enforcement folks understood that, and that we notified owners that we hear about who may be running when we get that complaint. I think the platforms are doing a great job
Oh, they really
of
are.
that.
Mhm.
But, putting people on notice and taking some serious action with regard to that ordinance. And not just letting it slip by, not just be an ordinance that we pass.
This is the one you're talking about, the short-term rental.
Short-term
Mhm.
rental.
Okay.
Right.
And
That
Didn't-
requires, that requires them to register and to be certified every year.
right,
So that registration, when we hear about a property that is not
they're renting,
registered, that
you know that there's,
that we're kind enough to let them know that, but then we also put them on notice that if they don't comply, we're going to take action, and that we do follow through with that,
right.
okay? So that's,
Mhm. That's in the works.
yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Okay, I guess that's it.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah, that's
Finally.
sorry, sorry.
All right, anything? So, our next regular meeting is Wednesday, July 14th at 4
Oh,
p.m. Our
wait.
next-
There's, I want to mention something real quick.
Okay.
A couple things. First of all, with the storm that came, I forgot her name already, Elsa.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, I felt so much better because we had, through Commissioner Krajewski had spearheaded this, that I know that we've gone around to a lot of these storm drains, and he's worked with Seminole Septic to get those cleaned out. I felt so much more confident. I just hadn't, it would have been a nightmare if we hadn't done that and Elsa hadn't just passed us by. I mean, I just felt so much better about it, and I really appreciate that he,
That's great.
worked to get as much of that done as possible, including there were a couple, I think you mentioned this before, there were a couple of drains that we found out where the grates were cemented in, and they removed them, and those had maybe never been cleared out. I just feel really great about that. The other thing is with the 4th of July, what a super thing. And my hats off to Chief Swan was there at 6 a.m. the day of the fireworks himself, was overseeing, watching to make sure that the perimeter was set up properly. It was amazing. And then that night before the fireworks, Captain Smith was there, making sure that the officers had everything they need, that there were no problems, etc. And also to Chief Heather, I didn't realize this with the fireworks that, they had a bunch of firefighters there. I'm like, oh, what are these guys doing here? Well, first of all, they're paramedics. Secondly, they had a couple of guys that had to, before the fireworks started, they were fully, had all the big coats and the pants and the hats and all this stuff, equipment on them in that, still 85-degree heat there, just in case. It was incredible. You could say, yeah, they're getting paid, whatever, but that, are you really getting paid enough to do that? 85 degrees. So, and also thanks to Mike Pafumi, who's our maintenance guy. And then I think Indian Shores, it was Tommy, and I forget the other guy's name, that stepped up to the plate after they'd been there at 5 o'clock in the morning, setting that perimeter up. The fireworks guy, who did a great job, he had some personnel issues, and these guys came back and continued to work and until they couldn't see anymore. So anyway, it was fantastic.
Yes, indeed. So again, our next regular meeting is Wednesday, July 14th at 4 p.m. Our next workshop is Wednesday, July 28th at 2 p.m. And I I see that Commissioner Crump is eating her last M&M.
So it's time to go.